Hi guys, welcome back to a new crash course. In this CSS crash course, we will be building a website using CSS. So what is CSS? Well, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It is not a programming language like JavaScript. So what is it used for? It is used for website layout and design. And now let's just take a look at my computer screen to see what we're going to learn or what we're going to build in this crash course. Alright, so here you can see that this is the website that we will be creating. And as you can see, we have the header where we also apply the linear gradient, the background as well. And down here we have the navigation menu or navigation bar where we also have the effects as well, as you can see when I hover on that. So down here we have the text on top of the image. When you look at the image here, we also apply the dark transparent background as well. Down here we have the sidebar as well as the main content. And here this is the form that we will be learning how to style this from scratch again, as well as the button down here. And at the bottom, the footer, we have this section where we just also put the text about the copyright and everything. And when you take a look at the right hand side here, you can see that there's an element where it stays on the website all the time. So these are all of the things that we're going to learn in this crash course. But before that, let's just take a look at whether it is responsive or not. So let me just resize this. As you can see, this website is responsive with the menu, as you can see here, the same for the image here. And down here we also have the sidebar, the main content and the form. You can see when it is in full screen, the sidebar is on the left hand side and the main content is on the right hand side. But if it is run or render in the small devices, then it will just goes to the next line. And again with the copyright down here, the footer, and we have the subscribe button, the elements stay on here as well. And when you take a look at the menu here, whenever that we scroll down, it just stay on top of here. So these are all the things that we will learn in this crash course. And when I click on the button here, you can see that we also have the apply all of the scrolling effects as well. So this is the scroll smooth effects that we will be added to this crash course. So now let's just get started. Right guys, so first you will need to install this software. It's called Visual Studio Code. It is the code editor where we going to write the CSS code and run it in the browser. So here you can click on this button if you are using Windows, and if you are using Mac or Linux, you can also install it as well. So here you can see I have created this empty folder called CSS Crash Course inside my drive D, and I have also opened it in this software as well. And now let's just quickly create a new file called index.html, and I'm going to create a boilerplate. So will be exclamation mark and press on the tab key on your keyboard. Now let me just quickly try to change the title here to CSS Crash Course. Alright, so down here what I'm going to do is to quickly create text right here. It will be H1, and I will just say hi guys, just like that, and quickly save it. So next thing you want to do is to click on this icon here. This is the extensions. So once you click on that, and this is the extension that you will need to install called Live Server. You can search here Live Server, then there will be a button like this one here, right? Like the install button. Click on that to install Live Server. So once you have this enabled, let's come back here to this and right click and open this with Live Server. Okay, so here you guys can see we have a text with H1 tag saying hi guys. And now let's just come back quickly. So what I'm going to show you now is to get into the CSS part. So we have three options or three methods to basically insert the CSS into the HTML tag. So one is inline, second one is internal, and the third method or the third option is external. So now I want to show you is to show you the first one, which is inline. To insert this directly here in the H1 tag, what you will need to do is to write style equal to, this is any CSS property that you will need to insert. So let's say I'll say this as style with the color. I want to change the text color here. Right now I just want to change it to blue. So this is what you will need to write. So now let's just quickly save that and go back to the website. And here you can see we have this tag changed to blue color. Alright, so this is one option, which is the inline styling. So now let me just comment this one out and go with the second option, which is the internal styling. So let me just do that again real quick. H1 and the same things. Hi guys. So now instead of write it like this, and this is actually not recommended to do that. So the second one here, what we need to do, we can just write this one up here, since this is style, we use the style tag. And then inside here, because we are using H1, we can just use H1 here, then whatever that we write inside here, then it will take effects on this one. So now let me just do the same thing. It will be blue like that, and let me just save it. Look, go back here, you can see we have the same text with the same color as well. So this is the second option, but again this is still not recommended. Now let me just show you the third option, which is the linking this to the external one. I'll just keep this one for you guys. And now let me create another file, which is the external file. I'll call this as style.css. The extension end with CSS. So now I can just quickly write the same thing. Will be H1 with the color of blue like that, and save it. Now let's just come back here. What you will need to do right here underneath the title, you can just use this link tag here and press on the tab key on your keyboard. And right here, the href, we will need to use the this name right here, right? So it will be style.css. So that means this HTML file is linked to this style.css. So now let me just save it and see if we still get that result. So here you guys can see this is the third solution, or the third option that we use, which is linking this to the external CSS file. So this is how we do it. Alright guys, so now you can see I put this side by side. This is the code editor and this is the browser. So this is what you've seen earlier. I just closed this. And now what I'm going to show you, here you can see we are using the color name. So I can just change this to say like red color or any color name that you can think of like that, right? But this is only one option. You have another option, which is using the hexadecimal, and the third one will be using RGB. So now let me just show you what I mean by that. Let me just remove this, and you press on your keyboard Control space, then you can see there will be a list of this, right? And here on the right hand side, you can see these are all of the hexadecimal. So you can select either one of this, but because I select this, it just show me the color name. You can type this using the hexadecimal value like that. So just for this example, this will turn into the dark gray color. And you can see I'm using only 3 digits, but normally it consists of 6 digits like this. Because if they are all the same, then we can just use the shortcut, which is only 3 digits like this. And let me just show you another one. It will be 340, and this changed to the black color. And this one again, it's equivalent to 6 digits like this, because they are the same. So I'm just using the 3 digits like that. Okay, so this is the second option. And the third option will be using the RGB. So now let me just hover here, and you can see I can just change to any color that I want. So now let's just say this one here. When I select this one, you can see it using the RGB color, and now let me just save it. You can see it changed that. So there are three options just to change the color, either color names or hexadecimal or RGB. All right, so now let's just go to the next property that I'm going to show you, which is the font size. So I can just change the font size to, let's just say 20 pixels, save it. You can see the font size have changed, or I can just put like 30s, and here you can see it's also changed. And the next one I'm going to show you is the font family. So here there's a list of this font that we can choose from. So these are all of the web server font. So let me normally we just use this one. Let me just select on this one. So here you can see we have this font arrow, and this is the second font. So let me just save it quickly. You can see that it changed the font. So first one here, if it doesn't exist, then it will go to the second one, right? And for this one here, this because they are all the web server font. If you can think of like maybe particular font that it's not really supporting in the browser, then again don't use the rare one that you can think of. Use the list from here. You can see these are all of the web server font. You can also change this to like say Time New Roman here as well, and this is what you can see. And now let me just change this back to using this one here. So yep, this would be it. So next thing that I want to show you is to just put this into full screen, and I'm going to right click and select the inspections. I want to also show you right here. You can just select on this icon here, right? And now click on the hi guys. So from here you can see we have this option here. Okay, you can also directly check this one as well. So if I uncheck this, you can see it takes effect here. And if I want to go back to the normal one, here you guys can see this is what it show us. And if we put this back, then we can also see that and also with this one you can change this directly onto the browser like that. But remember that this is only for testing, but it doesn't really change any code inside this Visual Studio Code at all. So yep, just to show you that we have this option where you can just play around with it like this. Alright, so now let's just come back here. I want to add the dummies tag down here. So I use the p tag, and to create some random data, you can just use the lorem like that and press on the tab key. And when you save it here, you can see we have this text right here. So these are the random generated data. Here you can see we are using the H1, right? So this only take effects on this one right here. But if you also want to apply all of this styling here to the whole, which is including this p tag as well, so then you can just change this to using the body instead like that. When you save it, and here you guys can see we can have this change. Let's just say I change this to 16 pixel. This is what the result look like using the body, which it will wrap all of this here. Okay, so now let's take a look at the differences between margin and padding in CSS. So now let me just quickly show you this one here, the differences between these two. So when are we going to use the margin, and when are we going to use the padding? So when you use the margin, it is to determine the space surrounding an element. And here, let me just scroll down to show you that the differences. So these are some more example, and this is the use for the padding.
It just determines how the content look within the respective element. So let me just scroll down a little bit more. And here, this is the CSS box model. And now you can see this imagine that this is the content inside it is outside of the content. And the next one will be the border. And the outside of this will be the margin. So just keep in mind that the padding is inside the border and the margin is outside of the border. Alright, so just don't get that confused. And I also show you an example in a minute as well, but just to have you thinking of the grab an idea of what it look like. So here you can see the margin is outside of the padding, and right here these are the border. Alright, so they also have some other example here as well. And yep, let's just start getting into it. The website, you can find it here. So now let's just quickly put it side by side again. Okay, so go to the style.css, and now what I'm going to do is to create a new class. It's called container, and make sure that we have to also change the code here as well. So to create a class called container that wrap around this h1 and p tag, so the shortcut will be dot and just give that a name. It will be container like that, and press on the tab key on your keyboard. It will just try to create this for us, right? And now let's just cut this part and put it down here, save it. So here you can see this is what it looks like now. And we can just add any CSS code inside this container class. So now let me just quickly give this border as solid 1 pixel like that, and save it. Here you can see we have this border here, the blue border, which 1 pixel. And now let's just set this width maybe 500 pixel, as you can see here. And let's just quickly save it. Now we have the 500 pixel width. I might want to change this to a little bit dark blue so it's easier for you to see. Save that. Yep, that's better now. And here I now add the pixel of margin when I save it. Here you can see we have the margin around this, which is 50 pixel. Okay. And down here, I want to also add the padding as well. Let's just say 50 pixel like that, save it. And here inside this border, you can see we also have the 50 pixel of the padding as well. So now let me just quickly inspect this for you to see. So the shortcut to inspect is pressing F12 on your keyboard. So when I click or press on that button, and here we can see this. And now let's just take a quick look again. So when I select on the this div which is this container, right? And here you can see we have this container. So this is the border. When I uncheck this, you can see it's gone, and the width is 500. So here the margin that I want to show you is outside of the container, right? So here you can see the difference. And this is the padding. So this is again 50 pixel, which is inside the border. And with margins, what if I want to align this in the center? What about, let's say I want to move this box here to the center of the screen. So now let's just come back here. We can use this value, which is margin equal to auto. So when I save it, you can see we have this space, which is we have the same space around this box here. So now we just align this box in the center. Okay, so that is the value that you can use if you want to align the container in the center. Now let me just quickly change this to 50 pixel like that. And here let me just put it like this. Instead of having like 50 pixel on the top, the right, bottom and left like that. So if I want to let's just cut this part and put it like this, I'll just comment this one out, pressing on the control question mark, and this is we comment it out. So here if you want to use different one, let's just say the margin top, you want to set it to only 20 pixel like that, you can do that. So here we have the 20 pixel of the margin top. How about the bottom one? Well, I can just do that as well, 20 pixel, and we want to have the margin left, which is this time, let's just say 40 pixel, margin right, let's just set it to 40 pixel as well. So you can see the left and right now we have 40 pixel. Okay, so this is how we want to define each one like that. And there's also a shortcut as well. So instead of using each one like this, right, we can just combine them together. So it will be margin, let's just put 20 pixel, 40 pixel, 20 pixel, and this is 40 pixel. So this line of code is equivalent to this 4 line of code. So this will be the first one here. This is the top one, and this is the margin right, this is bottom, and this is left. Okay, so these are the same. Again, the first one is the top, right, bottom, left. But we can go even further than this. So let's just say margin will be 20 and 40 pixel. So this one here, it means that the top and the bottom are the same. And for the second one here, the left and the right, they are all the same. So this is the shortcut that we can also use. So this will be the top and the bottom, which is 20 pixel, and the left and right, which is 40 pixel. Now let's try to create a website from scratch. So I'm going to get rid all of this for now. So there will be an empty CSS file here, and this one I will, let me just expand this. And again, for this one, let me try to get rid of this. So go back to the original one. Will be looking like this, right? And now let's just quickly start this from scratch. So the first one that I'm going to use is the header tag. So you can just try to write it like this, header, and use the pound sign. And I will give this an ID, so it will be header as well. When I press on the tab key, you can see it will just try to generate this for me with the ID of header. So what is the difference between using the class and the ID? So a moment ago I just showed you is using the container class, and this is the ID. So ID here, it only apply to whenever that we only have one ID within the whole website. So this is the unique value, right? But for the class, it can be reusable for the other component or the other element as well. So just to keep that in mind, ID is a unique which only apply to a particular one, which in this case, this is the header. Okay. So now let me just inside the header, I want to create a class called container like that, and here this is what we get. These are the different. Again, this is the class, this is the ID, and inside here this is the h1. Let's just put this as CSS crash course like that, save it, and here we can see this is what we have. And now let me quickly style this one here for you guys. So will be go back here to the style.css, the body, the whole when whatever that is inside the body, it will apply all of the style. I just use the font family. Let's just go with this one, the first one, and down here will be font size. Let's just set this to 16 pixel with the, so here you can see we have the margin here by default, so we want to get rid all of the margin. We can also use the margin, set this to 0 when I save it. Alright, the reason that it doesn't actually show anything at all, because here underneath the title, we haven't provided the link to the style.css. So now let's just save that again. And here we can see without having to supply the margin equal to 0, here you can see we have this margin here, but when I put it back, the margin has gone. And you might be wondering why we have a space here. Well, that's because we are using the H1 and it comes with space by default. So there will be like a space here, so that's fine for us. And now let me try to style the container class. So this will be width. I want to set this to maybe 500 pixels like this, right? I can just do that here. But the thing is that when we use the pixel here, it is not responsive. So what I'm going to use is to use the 80. All right. So let me just save that. And down here, we can just do the margin equal to auto, which align the container in the center of the screen, and the overflow. So this one here, if there's like going outside of the element, then we don't want to have like a scroll bar. So we can just use this overflow equal to hidden, right? So now let me just show you what else that we need to have. Now let's just go with the header that we created. So this is the ID of the header. We use the, let's just use the background color. This one, let me go with the first one here. So again, just want to mention that you can either use the background dash color, or you can just use it like this directly. So let me just go with this one here. And down here, I want to change the text color to gray like that, dark gray. So when I save it, here you can see this is what we have. Put this in full screen. And now we have this, which is 80% of the screen, and align it in the center. Going back real quick, I want to also add the other one. So here we have the header tag, and next one will be the nav. So to create the ID within the nav, again we'll use the nav # with the ID, not ID. The ID I will just call it as nav bar, and press on the tab key. This will create this for me. And inside here again, I want to use the container class, will be .container. And inside this container, I want to use the unordered list, and within here I want to use the list. And inside each list, I want to use the a tag. So it will be a tag like that, or maybe I can just press the A, and this will create this for me. And I use this #, which it will not link to any of the other page at all. So like that. Let me just copy this a few times. Will be about, down here will be, let's just say tutorial. Last one will be contact, like that. Save it. And here you can see this is what we have. And what I'm going to do is to try to style this to look stay in within the row. Now let me just go back to the style.css, and now let me just show you how to do that here. So it will be the nav, nav bar, and we want to style the list, so it will be like this. And then display, I want to, instead of display this like that, right, I want to display it in line. So when I display, save it, and here we can see we have this. And next I want to style the, again, nav bar. This time it will be applying to the a tag. So the color, let's just say I want to change the color of the text to white. Text decoration, change to none. The font size, let's just update this to 18 pixel with the padding right of 16 pixel. But the thing is that right here you can see there's nothing at all because the color of this A tag is white, so we can't see anything at all. And that's a reason why up here we will need to set the nav bar. So this will set the background color to let's just put this as dark gray. So now you can see change this to the background color of the dark gray. And next I want to also add another one, which is the unordered list. So here you can see we have the space by default because we are using the unordered list, and because of this we need to set the padding to 0, and the list style we want to set this to none. Let's just save it, and here you guys can see we now have this align, which is the same as the header. Down here the text decoration, so if you don't set this to none, this is what you can see, which is the underline. So yep, that's what it looked like, and here you can see it's look a lot better now. Next, let me just create a new section. So let's go back to the index.html. Underneath the nav here, let's create a new section, will be section #, which is called this slideshow, like that. And inside here will be dot container class, and inside this class I want to use the h1 with the some random text, will be lorem, and then press on the tab key, and this text will generate. As you can see here, it is generated. And now let's just try to quickly style this slideshow. So down here, let me just try to add the slideshow, although it is not a slideshow, it's just an image, but just imagine that it is a slideshow that you can normally see in the website. So now we will need to use the background image. Let me just quickly find that image and show you after that. So here you guys can see I created a new folder called img, stand for image, and inside this image I have this image here. So this will be our background image. So let me just quickly show you this one here. So this is what it looked like. Now let's just come back real quick. So here, and this is the code. Let me try to style this, will be background image URL, and let's just specify the path to the image. So it will be image like that, and this is the image, right? And then down here I want to, let me just save it real quick, and this is what we can see. The thing is that it's not really clear what's going on with this card, right? So now let me just use another property, will be background position, positions. I can just set the center, and let's just do center again. When I save it, here you can see it just grabbed this part here, which is the center, and inside the center. So if I change this to say like top, let's just go back, and here you can see it just try to grab this center and the top. Or I can also change it to, let's just say left, and then let's just go back here. You can see it just try to capture the center and the left part here. So I want to have the center and center, then I can just specify it like this, right? So here we can see this is what we have now. And next I want to also set the height of the image. Let's just set it to 300 pixel, save it, and here we can see this is what we have. And for the margin bottom, so this will be, let's just set this to 30 pixel. So we want to have like a margin because we will add a new section down there in a minute, and the text I will need to align this to the center. So save it, and this is what we have. Now I want to also the slideshow here. I want to update the h1 tag, so I will just use this as color. I want to have this as white, and down here will be font size. Let's just change this to 30 pixel. With the line height, let's just 1.6 m, and for the padding top, I will just set this to, let's just say 30 pixel. So when I save it, and here I can see this is what we have with the line height, the space in between the text here, and change the font size and everything. But the thing is that you can see we don't really have this space correctly as shown here. So now because of this issue, we can just try to use here the height. We just need to add the min height when I save it, and here I can see it is showing properly right now. So what this does is to basically mean that the minimum height is 300 pixel. When I go back here, it will also show correctly, or when I put it into the mobile screen, this is what we can see, right? Next, let's just work on another section. So now we have this slideshow section, and let me just add a new one, which is the side with the ID of, let's just say this is the sidebar. Inside here, let's just have the p tag and some random text as well. Save it. So here, this is what we have down there, and I want to also add another section. So this one, it will be section with the ID of, let's just say this is the main or main content, and inside here I want to have the h1. Let's just say my title. Down here, let's just have a p tag. So this time lorem, I will just set this to 100 word, so it will look like this. 100. Press on tab key, and this is the text that we have. All right. So now let's just quickly work on the style link. This will be the sidebar. I will set this to float left. I want to float this on the left hand side and the main content on the right hand side. So this is just like the sidebar. All right. So this will be left. With the width, I want to have the width of 30%. So 30% of the screen, and the rest will be for the main content. So now we have this, and let's just add the padding. Let's just add it afterward. Let me also show you one thing as well. Now let's just quickly work on the main. So this will be float right with the width of, let's set this to 70%. Now let me just save it. And here I can see we have the 30% of the sidebar, 70% of the main content. So now, because right here you can see we don't have any padding at all, so I want to add that padding. So let me just quickly do it now. It will be, let's just set this padding to have 10 pixel. When I just add this padding here, you can see the content now change. It just go to the next line, and this is what we don't want at all. And now let me also add another one here. Let's just say the padding here, I want to have the 0 with the 30 pixels. So the top and bottom will be 0 pixel, and the left and right will be 30 pixel. So I want to have like this padding here, but the thing again, you can see we got everything messed up, conflicts with each other. So there is another property that we can use. So this will be the box sizing, right? And this will be the border box. And this one is the same for this main content as well. We just need to add this property when I save it. And now you can see everything get back to normal. And now let me also try to explain you what happening right here as well. So because you can see the width that we set is 30% and we add 10 more pixels to it, then it will just expand this, and it's not equal to 30% of the screen anymore. So because of that, we can just use this box sizing. It will just fix everything for us, and it also include the padding that we want as well. So this is very important to use that here. The same for the main content. Now let me just put this in full screen so you can see it easily. So this is the sidebar, this is the main content, and it's look a lot better now. Alright, so now let's imagine that here we have a small device, and I don't actually want to have it shown like this. So instead of having like a sidebar on the left and the content on the right on the smaller devices, then I want to have this main content to go to the underneath. So this will be on top, this will be at the bottom. Alright, so how do I do it? Well, I can just use this one here. So let's just go back to the style.css. It will be media with the maximum width. Let's just set this to say like 600 pixel. Then this property will take effect. So I will just set this to sidebar, and because the sidebar and also with the main here, it having the same property, we can just use the comma and then just add another one here, and inside here we can just use the width. Let's just set this to 100%, and the float, we don't want to float left or right at all, we just set it to float none. When I save it, and here you guys can see it will just showing me this is the top one and this is the bottom one. But when I put it into full screen, it will just show me this, because it only affects whenever that the screen size is 600 pixel maximum. Okay, next one here, I want to add the another section. Will be just call this as footer with the ID of footer as well. So here I just use p tag. It will be copyright. Let's just do the add the copyright sign as well. 2021 CSS crash course. Right, save it, and when I save it, this is what we have. But let me just put this in full screen, and here you can see this is actually not showing us properly. It's just showing underneath the sidebar, but I want to have it shown underneath this main content as well. So now to fix this issue, we can just add another div here. So we'll be call this as a class clear, like that. So we just want to separate the above one, the top one, with the footer here. We just don't want to have it conflict with each other. Now let's just scroll up, and also want to make sure that you can see all of the ID. I just group them all together here, and because right here we are using the class called clear, so I just need to add it underneath this class as well. Just want to have all of the class to stay together, and this called clear, and we can use the property called clear. Right, let's just set this to both, and here you can see it is now showing underneath here, although I want to expand, and this is correctly showing us now. Okay, so this is the use of the clear with the both. We can also set this to something else as well, like say left, right, but because we don't want to have it in the left and also right, we can just use the both here. Okay, so now let me just style the footer as well. So the footer here, it's gonna put it down here because this is the ID. So now let me just set the background of the footer to 333 dark gray with the text color of white, and the text align will be center, Down here will be padding. I want to have 20 pixel around that. And with the margin top, I want to have this set to maybe 40 pixel. Save it. And here you guys can see this is we have now. When I put it into full screen, yep, that's look a lot better underneath here. So yeah, we also have done the footer as well. So next thing that I now want to show you is to add another one, maybe having like a form underneath here. Okay, so underneath here, let's just add a new form. Let's just call this, this is the form tag and dot form. I call this class as form, and the action here, we can just get rid of this for now. And inside this form, let's just create class called form group like that. And then underneath here, we want to have the label. So label, let's just for this, let's just put a name, and also with a name here as well. So here we want to have the input. The type will be text, that's fine. And we want to have the name. Let's just call this as name like that. So input would look like this. So this actually equal to, let's just save it. And here we have this shown. We want to copy this maybe 2 more times. And let's just change this to email. And this will be email. The same for this one, email. Third one here, let's just change this to message or comment. Let's just do message for now. And then this one will be message. The same for this one, message. Okay, so here actually instead of using the input, we want to have like a bigger space. So let's just get rid of this and use the text area instead. So name equal to, let's just do message. Save it. And now you can see this is what we have. We want to have this space here for the message field. And then we want to have the button as well. So it will be input. The type here will be submit. And then the value, we want to have the value of submit. And name equal to submit. Save that. And this is what we have. Alright. So I want to style this form. Let's just go back to style.css. So because we are using the class, right, instead of the ID, so let's just come down here underneath the clear will be .form. Let's just have the padding. So will be padding equal to 30 pixel. Save that. Yep. And then for down here will be .form. We want to grab the form group, which is each field. So here I want to have this padding bottom. Let's just set this to 10 pixel. Save it. So we want to have like a space between each field like that. And then let's just go with the label. So form label will be, we want to display this as block because want to show it into a new line like this, right? So yep, that's what it look like. And we want to also work on the input as well. So this will, we want to have the padding maybe 8 pixel with the width of, let's just set this to 100. Save it. Now you can see we have this padding which is 8 pixel, and then the width is 100. But the thing is that it doesn't really apply to this one here because this is the text area. Okay, so how are we going to solve that? Well, we can just use something that specify the type equal to text. So here we can just update this to type. Let's just put this type equal to text, and we want to also have the text area as well. So because the property here does apply as well, it's the same one, so we can just use this dot form text area, save it. Let's take a look, and now you can see we all have this here. And then for the button, well, I want to style this button. We can just do dot form input type equal to submit. Then we can just apply the style, which is the background color of the dark gray, and the text color, which is white. And then the padding will be, let's just have the 10, and then so top and bottom will be 10, and left and right will be 20 pixel. Let's just quickly save that, and now you can see this is what the button look like. But the thing is that it does contain like this border, right? So we don't want to have that. We can just set the border to none, save it quickly, take a look again. So yep, that's look a lot better now. Okay, but one thing here, actually we can just try to improve this. Instead of using like the type equal to submit, I want to apply all of the button. So to do that, I can just comment this part out, and then I add a class to this input equal to submit here. So I'll just add a class right here, call this as button or btn, the button here. And then because I add a class, I can just, yep, down here actually. So I can just add dot button, the background color. Let's just do the same. Actually, these are all the same. Let's just copy that, paste it down here, and quickly save it. See if, yep, we have the same exact result. But now I want to, whenever I hover on this button, I want to see the pointer instead of like this arrow. Then how do I do it? Well, let's just go back down here, will be button. I want to the hover effect here. I want to add the background color of, say, gray, like that. And then with the cursor, I set this to the pointer. Let's just save it. Now when I hover here, you can see this look better now, right? With the pointer that we change here as well. Okay, so that's done for the button. What about, or how does it look in this? Well, it actually not looking that good here. So let's just quickly change that. So up here, the form, we can just add the width. Let's just do the width, which is 70%. And we want to align it in the center, will be margin auto. Okay, so yep, that look like that. Let's just take a look in the full screen, and yep, that's what it look now. Now let's look at CSS position property. So underneath this form, I'll just create a new ID. So will be, let's just say example like that, and then inside here, let's just have the h1 tag. Let's just say this one as test1. We have the p tag as well, will be test2, like that. And then once we have this, let's just go back here to the style.css, scroll down to underneath the ID. Yep, will be here. Let's just quickly style this. I'll just have the example. Will be set the width to 800 pixel, and with the height set this to 500 pixel, and then with the margin I want to align or to have the box stay in the center, right? So just do that here. With the border, set this to 1 pixel with the solid, and 333 which the border color, and here let's just keep it like that for now before we getting into the positions. So now you can see we have this border. Underneath here, let's just do the example of H1 and position, which is absolute. So I will show you what I mean by that. With the top of 100 pixel, and then the left will be 200 pixel, like that. So when I save it, and now let's just take a look, you can see it just gone because I want to have it showing, like say the top of 100 pixel and then the left which is 200 pixel. I want to show it around here, but then where it's going, let me just search for it, and here it is. We can see we have the text one which is showing here. So that actually not correctly showing us the right position, right? So that's a reason why we can imagine this is as like the child element, and this is like the parent element. So remember that whenever that we want to use the positions absolute in the parent element, we have to use the positions relative, right? Let's just quickly save that. Take a look again, and now you can see it is correctly showing us here. So the top will be 100 pixel and the left here 200 pixel when we want to use the absolute, that we want to have it shown wherever that we want inside this box here. Let me go with the other one, which is the test2, will be example. We use the p tag for this one. So position, again this will be absolute. Let's just say this time I want to have the maybe showing the button. Let's just do bottom 100 pixel, and then with the right of 300 pixels, save it. Take a look here. Now you can see we have this, right? So yep, this is how we use the position absolute. Next one I want to show you is also a position as well, but using different value. All right, now that we have looked into using the property which is position, and the value is absolute, and how does relative and absolute work together, we look into that. Now let me just quickly comment this one out because we no longer need this one here. And next I want to show you is using again the same property which is position, but the value will be fixed. So let me try to create a new div. Let's just call this one with the ID which is fixed. So yep, we have this now, and the value will be just say like test. Go back here. We want to try to edit down here. Let me also comment this one as well. Comment this. And then down here, let's just try to style it. Will be fixed. Let's just do position, which is this time it fixed. And the right, let's just set this to 0 pixel. With the bottom, let's just do 50 pixel, and the background, let's just do it as red, maybe a blue one for now. And the padding, let's just do this as 10 pixel, and the color, we want to have the white. Save it, and now you can see this is how fix works. It just stay on the website. Whenever I scroll, it just stay here, it just fixed there. All right, so let me try to change this to maybe this color here using the hexadecimal. Will be FF40 like that, and instead of the this one here, test, I want to change it to subscribe, like YouTube subscribe. Save it, and here you guys can see we have this stay here. And again, because of this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also like this video as well. So now let's go back real quick. Let me just put this here, right? And next one I want to show you is to go back here, and now you guys can see we don't actually have any container to wrap around all of this here, right? So we have the sidebar, we have the main content and the form as well. So I want to have like the container. So should be, let's just copy this part here, and let's just put it here, and we want to wrap around this here. So it will be up until this one here. Yep, save it real quick. So yep, that's what it look like. Actually, it's look a lot better here. We just put this container to wrap it outside of here. Let's just take a look at the full screen. Yes, here it is, guys. Now come to the bonus part. So here you can see, take a look at this slideshow here. You can see that sometimes it's hard to read the text whenever that the background is also white, as you can see here, right? So we want to add like a dark layer on top of the image. So we can just quickly go back to the slideshow here. So here the background image in front of the URL, we can just add linear gradient. Don't forget a comma as well. So inside here we want to use the RGB A, and we want to set this all to 0, and right here will be 0.5, and the same, let's just copy this here, add a comma and paste another one here, quickly save it. Now you can see we have this looking a lot better. We can just put like a darken layer on top of the image. So 0.5 here, it just mean that it is transparent, we can see through it, but we just put like a dark layer on top of it, right? So yes, this is one thing that we can improve. So what else that we can improve? Let's just take a look for the header style. Here instead of like showing this color here, we can also use the gradient. So instead of background color, comment this one real quick, we use the background image will be linear gradient, and here we can just set this to 2 bottom right, and start from this color here, maybe white. Quickly save it. Now you can see this is what it look like using the linear gradient, and there are a lot of options, not only using this one. You can check that out how to use the linear gradient, but for this example I'll just use this one here. So let me also change this text actually back to white. Okay, so look like that. How about here? Yes, this is when we try to use the linear gradient. Okay, at the moment whenever that I click here, it actually does nothing at all, right? So I want to also add whenever that I click here, it will just say click on the home here, just go to this area, right? Or maybe when I click on the about, then it will just scroll me down to this part here, or maybe the tutorial will go to this one, or the contact, it will just scroll me down here. So how do I do that? Well, right here we can just do home, right here will be about, and this part will be tutorial, and down here will be contact, and here I can just use the ID. Add the ID here will be ID equal to home, and the sidebar, let's just put here ID equal to, so sidebar I want to click the about, it will go there. But again, it's just an example. Of course, you will need to add like the about section, what is website all about. But just to show you, I'll just use this ID equal to about, and the tutorial will be right here, tutorial, and the contact. So when I click on that, it will just go here, will be ID equal to contact. Save that. So when I click here, let's just see home, it will just scroll me here, about, yep, this one, the sidebar, tutorial, and the contact, it was just showing me here. But one thing is that when I click here, you can see it just directly point me to that part. It doesn't have any effects at all. So to add the scroll smooth effects, I can just come here, add the HTML, and then I can just use this property called scroll behavior. I can just use this one here, smooth. So when I save it, let's try that again. Home, you can see that affects the about, tutorial, and the contact, which just scroll me down here. What about, let's just take a look here in full screen, tutorial, yeah, it's the same, because it only affects whenever that we use in with a small screen device, that it go to this part, and this one is going to here. The contact, you can see here, just showing us that. Alright guys, so I have just added these effects here. As you can see, when I hover on the menu, the navigation bar, you can see there will be a background color change to the gray color. So now let me just show you that code, and here you can see this is what the code that I have updated. So for this one, I use the unordered list and also list, but here you can also see I added comment here as well, using this without the UL and the LI. So right here, you just need to provide the content inside here, the same as this one, right? And in the style here, so this is the code that you will need to enable. So this will be the navbar A, and this is the float to the left, and the block, the same one, the color, text, and the padding, which is 15 pixel for the top and bottom, left and right will be 20, and the text decoration to none, and then the effects will be this one here, the background color, and this is the color itself, which is the black. So yep, that's the, if you want to have this enable, you can just do that here. Also, now let me just go back real quick. When I try to scroll down, you can see that I want to have the stay here all the time. Then you can come back here and try to add that as well. So it will be underneath the nav bar. Let's just look for the nav bar right here. So you just need to add the position. This will be sticky, okay, this one right here. And sticky here, it doesn't work with the Safari browser, so you will need to add another position. It will be position, and will be this one here, the WebKit sticky. So this is for the Safari browser, and we can also set the top as well. So we set the top here to 0 pixel. Now let's just quickly save that and go back to the website. When I scroll down, you can see it just stick there, right, all the time, even though with the small screen as well. Let me just show you that. So here, this is with the small screen, and it still works the same way. And I click here, go there, tutorial will be there, right? So this just the other improvement that we can add to the website here. Alright, so these are just the improvement. If you want to have that enable, you can just uncomment this. So the same for this one as well. So Let's just comment this out, go back to the previous one. I will leave a code here. This one, let's just comment this, and this one. And here you guys can see this is how we try to create everything from scratch using mainly CSS, how to style this. And even though with the fix here, the form, and we just set the assign 30% and the main content 70%. We also have the slideshow here as well with the darken of the background image here, and the same for the menu. And this is the title using the linear gradient for the background image. And there's a lot you can see that we learned from this. And that's pretty much it for the CSS crash course, guys. I hope you learn a lot from this, and you can see that we built this website together from scratch. And also if you have any question, let me know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel as you can see the button here. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.